There's been an explosion in New York City, multiple injuries. And again, that is according to dispatch, and it has been confirmed. Authorities are confirming that. I want to get to CNN's Gene Casares, also live on the phone with us right now. Gene, what are you seeing?
Don, I am seeing many ambulances. I'm in the Chelsea district of New York City. I am seeing multiple fire trucks, hooks and ladder, but really multiple for blocks and blocks. We're seeing ambulances and fire trucks. A lot of people are just watching, but what we can confirm at this point that there was an explosion. We do not know how large, but we can confirm multiple injuries at this point. It is believed that there was some type of a device in a trash can or in a dumpster. We don't know at this point how serious those injuries are, but I can tell you there are helicopters that are flying above us. We do know the counterterrorism unit is en route and on scene from the New York Police Department. But police are not allowing anyone anywhere near the scene because they just yelled out that it is still extremely dangerous here. So what we're seeing is a controlled situation. People are calm. Law enforcement is calm, but obviously something that we're right in the midst of, and they're working it very hard right now, Don.
I was at 22nd and 7th Avenue sitting outside having dinner, and I felt a loud explosion, and it felt like a lightning bolt struck the building. It like shook the ground, and everyone ran out of the restaurants in the street. The whole city was in the street. I've never seen so many cops drive the wrong way. Fire trucks, undercover cops driving the wrong way aggressively, like 20, 30 miles an hour upstream, up 7th Avenue, closed everything down. People smelled smoke. First they thought it was a building collapsed. Then we heard it was an IED and everything else, so everyone's on Twitter, but the whole neighborhood shut down. We were supposed to go see a movie tonight. That shut down. Everything shut down. It seems like a lot of chaos.
What was going through your mind? Were you concerned?
They said that there may be other bombs and to stay put, and the cops were telling everyone not to move anywhere. So I live in the neighborhood. I certainly was concerned. I assumed it was a gas. There's been a ton of construction in this area. Everything's been closed down. I assumed it was that, but it was pretty scary for sure.
You said you saw them going backwards against traffic, ambulances. Was it chaos or was it controlled?
It was definitely controlled, but it was aggressive. Like there's a fire station on 19th Street, and they were going up 7th Avenue, and the ambulances and the undercover cops, and it looked like FBI and others. And other people saw the FBI coming, but it was definitely, no one was running out of the subways. I was afraid it was in the subway. That didn't happen. But definitely everyone was told to get out, and they keep moving the perimeter further and further. At first it was 23rd, then it was 22nd. They moved people away from 22nd. So, I mean, the cops are on it. They're doing a great job.
Did you see anybody injured or running from the scene, or anyone being put in an ambulance?
I wasn't that close, but I saw on Twitter quite a few people. Allegedly 25 people have been taken to the hospital. So
tonight, New York City experienced a very serious incident. All elements of our first responders have been a part of the operation here, NYPD, FDNY, Office of Emergency Management, obviously our federal partners, FBI and others working with us. So all hands are on deck. Injuries are significant. You'll hear from Commissioner Nigro on the details of the injuries. But at this point, we can confirm that none of those injured are likely to die. We also want to be upfront saying that there is no evidence at this point of a terror connection to this incident. This is preliminary information. It's something we will be investigating very carefully, but there is no evidence at this point of a terror connection. I also want to affirm that based on what we know at this hour, there is no specific connection to the incident in New Jersey. It is, again, too early to say anything definitive on those questions, but there's no specific evidence of a connection at this point.
We've confirmed from multiple law enforcement officials, both federal and the local officials, that the second device that police had talked about earlier is a pressure cooker. It's what it appears to be, a pressure cooker with wires sticking out of it. It has some kind of what appears to be a cell phone, and there's some writing. There's some notes there, and obviously it's bringing back some memories of the Boston bombing, certainly for the bomb technicians who are very familiar with those pressure cookers. So now law enforcement and the FBI and NYPD bomb squad are trying to find out whether or not this is actually something that can explode, whether it's inert or whether there's explosive material in that pressure cooker. By all accounts, they're treating it very seriously. We at CNN have seen an image of this pressure cooker, but we've been asked by law enforcement not to show it, so we're not doing that. but it's this sort of, it looks like a pressure cooker. There are wires sticking out of it. There's tape around some sort of what looks to be a cell phone, and then there's some paper with writing on it, and it looks like it was in a plastic bag. And so how law enforcement found this, I don't know. They have not said, and you know, whether or not this is actually a bomb or something that is a hoax device, they have not said otherwise, but they're treating it very seriously.
Wires, a timer, you've seen it. Talk to us a little bit more about what it looks like, how big the device is. Is there a timer, cell phone, wires, so on and so forth?
So it looks like a pressure cooker. There are wires that are protruding from it. There's black tape over something that looks like a cell phone. I mean, I spoke to a law enforcement official who confirmed that there was a cell phone attached to this device, to the pressure cooker. There are sort of what looks like electrical tape, right? Black electrical tape around, and there are just a bunch of wires kind of hanging out from it. There also appears to be some tape over the glass portion of the pressure cooker. There's a handle. So, I mean, we just don't know what's inside of it right now, but certainly it is causing a lot of concern for law enforcement, and this would certainly change the game here.
Looking at the first video we have all seen coming to us from MSNBC of the explosion at 8:40 p.m. tonight. This video coming from across the street from where the explosion took place.
It's really the reverberation of the explosion, yeah.
Exactly, and the people running from it. And then let's also show you the secondary device that was just found, not detonated, a pressure cooker. There you have it. Found just 4 blocks away at West 27th Street by the authorities. We have a lot to get through. Let's bring in our crime and justice. Let's describe this as they're looking, since this is up on the screen. So the explosion that you saw, at least the reverberation from the explosion, that was the one that was on 23rd Street at 6th Avenue that happened at 8:40. So this device that you're looking at now was found about 4 blocks away at 27th Street between 6th and 7th. Since they found this particular device, Richard Quest has told us that they have moved people back. They started moving people out of the neighborhood. They even moved Richard back live on the air. Also got an alert telling people who live in the neighborhood on 27th Street and the surrounding area to stay away from their windows, and that this suspicious device, until this suspicious device was moved, it has to be removed from the neighborhood. So the device that they found here appears to be a pressure cooker. If you look at it, it looks pretty much like a pressure cooker to me. Dark colored wiring coming out of the top center of the device and connected by silver duct tape to a small dark colored device attached to the outside of the pressure cooker. And that's according to multiple local and federal law enforcement officials. None of them would say at this point of what was inside the pressure cooker.
All right. Come with me. Come with me. Come with me.
What does my eye look like?
It's okay. You okay? You okay?
Does it look okay?
All right, 1 second, ladies. 1 second, ladies. We got some stuff going on.
That was a bomb. You heard?
I felt a loud explosion, and it felt like a lightning bolt struck the building. It like shook the ground, and everyone ran out of the restaurants in the street. The whole city was in the street.
The early indications, the initial indications, is this was an intentional act.
About the explosions that occurred here in New York City and New Jersey, and the other device that have been found in New Jersey. I've been monitoring the situation closely and receiving frequent updates from my team, and I've just been briefed again by FBI Director Comey. In addition, I've had a chance to speak with Governors Cuomo and Christie, as well as Mayor de Blasio. We've seen what was apparently a pipe bomb go off in New Jersey, in Seaside Park, where it could have seriously injured our U.S. Marines and spectators who were there for a race. The bombing in the Chelsea neighborhood here in New York injured more than 24 people. We are extremely fortunate and grateful that nobody was killed. And our prayers go out to all of those who have been injured. We want to wish them a speedy recovery. I especially want to commend all the outstanding police and first responders in both New York City and New Jersey for their extraordinary professionalism and their quick response, which surely prevented even more people from being hurt and ensured that people got assistance quickly. The investigation is moving rapidly, and as is my practice, I'm going to leave it to the FBI and law enforcement to provide details. I think everybody is aware at this point that there is a person of interest who is the focus of the investigation, and the FBI can give you further details in terms of how that is proceeding. I told Governors Cuomo and Christie and Mayor de Blasio that they and their teams will continue to have all federal support as they move ahead with their investigations in tracking down every lead and working to keep the people of this city and of this region safe. Law enforcement is asking for the help of the community, and so to everybody in this region, I want to repeat what we've said before. If you see something suspicious, then you need to say something. Contact local law enforcement. In the meantime, I would ask that the press try to refrain from getting out ahead of the investigation. I am extraordinarily happy with the cooperation that's been taking place between the FBI and state and local law enforcement officials. They are moving smartly on this investigation. It does not help if false reports or incomplete information is out there. So try to, as much as possible, stick to what our investigators say, because they actually know what they're talking about. Meanwhile, I know that the United Nations meetings here every year already create an additional workload for New York. But given the UN meetings, we also have a particularly high level of federal resources here to help as needed. We're going to make sure that everybody is working together seamlessly as one team to get to the bottom of what happened, to find those responsible, and to make sure that justice is done.
The suspect was not on the radar of local law enforcement, but the fried chicken place that they owned, the family owned, we had some code enforcement problems and noise complaints. When they opened in 2002, they ran a business for 24 hours. Neighborhood complaints regarding a congregation of people as well as noise sought the city council in 2009 in order to pass an ordinance closing that restaurant at 10 o'clock in the evening. The police had to enforce that ordinance, at which time the suspect's father and two brothers took the city of Elizabeth to court, and in October of 2012, the courts ruled in the city's favor that we were capable of closing that facility at 10 o'clock in the evening as a quality of life issue. I can tell you the restaurant's closed. Regarding the people who live here, the town is extremely safe. The businesses are open. The trains are running. The schools are open. People need to continue and move on with their daily lives.
There have been Islamic terrorist attacks in Minnesota and New York City and in New Jersey. These attacks and many others were made possible because of our extremely open immigration system, which fails to properly vet and screen the individuals or families coming into our country. Hillary Clinton refuses to consider an applicant's worldview and thus their likelihood of being recruited into the terror cause at some later date, which is going to happen in many, many cases. This isn't just a matter of terrorism. This is also really a question of quality of life. We want to make sure we are only admitting people into our country who love our country. We want them to love our country.
Good afternoon. Since the last briefing we provided you yesterday, hundreds of personnel from the New York and Newark, New Jersey JTTFs, along with the NYPD Detective Bureau, have been working around the clock developing and tracking leads, reviewing surveillance footage, employing sophisticated investigative techniques, and executing searches. Based on our evidence collection and supported by other analysis, the JTTFs began to focus on Ahmad Khan Rahami, working to develop his whereabouts and possible locations for surveillance. Last night, the JTTF conducted a traffic stop of a vehicle near the Verrazano Bridge in Brooklyn. That vehicle had been observed by JTTF personnel at a location associated with Rahami. Based on the totality of circumstances, the JTTF executed a stop of that vehicle. The passengers in the car were questioned by JTTF agents and detectives. No one in that car is under arrest. Based on our evidence collection, supported by other analysis, searches and interviews were conducted at residences in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Additional leads were followed as well, and we turned to the public this morning for assistance, initially using a more recent photo of Rahami. A short time ago, as you know, Rahami was arrested in Linden, New Jersey. 2 Linden police officers were injured while apprehending him, and our thoughts are with them, and we hope for their quick recovery. We will continue to conduct investigative activity to ensure we completely understand Rahami's social network.
The prime suspect in the New York and New Jersey bombings is in custody. 28-year-old Ahmad Rahami captured after a shootout with the New Jersey police that left him and 4 officers injured.
I heard another pop, more pops, and then it kept going, and that's when I saw the police vehicles.
Authorities tipped off to his location by a bartender who was watching CNN and recognized Rahami, who was asleep in the doorway of the bar.
Now that we have this suspect in custody, the investigation can focus on other aspects, such as whether this individual acted alone and what his motivations may have been.
Let's go! Get off the street! A weekend of terror across the 2 states, including 2 bombings and the discovery of several unexploded devices.
We have every reason to believe this was an act of terror.
It started at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday in the beach town of Seaside Park, New Jersey. Thousands of people were about to run a Marine Corps charity race when a pipe bomb exploded in a garbage can near the starting line. Then that night, panic on the streets of New York City. And a bomb built from a pressure cooker explodes. It detonated at approximately 8:30 p.m. on 23rd Street and 6th Avenue, injuring 29, sending panicked crowds scrambling for cover.
I don't know what hit me like that. I flew off my feet.
Police scramble, searching the area, and find another suspicious-looking pressure cooker located just several blocks away on 27th Street. Both devices were packed with ball bearings, commonly used in bombs to maximize damage. Investigators say surveillance footage shows a man they believe to be Rahami with a duffel bag at both Manhattan locations. He leaves the bag at the location where police later find the unexploded pressure cooker. A multi-state manhunt is launched for Rahami after he's identified by a fingerprint left on a cell phone in one of the explosive devices. At 9:30 p.m. on Sunday, a backpack containing up to 5 pipe bombs is found in a garbage can outside a neighborhood pub and about 500 feet from a train trestle. One of the bombs detonated when police sent a robot in to examine the devices after 2 men had alerted them.